Good morning, everyone. Hope y'all doing well. Hope everything's going well. Good morning. Good morning. We got another one. We got a brand new week. Got another one, y'all. How you doing, TLC? God's God's construction. How you doing? My Renaissance. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to y'all. How y'all doing this morning? Good morning. Belinda, how you doing? Good morning. Kenyatta's Journey. Good morning. Good morning to you all. Brother Lawrence. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see if I can open up everything. Let me go to the top. Anita Newsom, how you doing? Good morning. Shy, good morning. Laura's Garden and more, good morning. Hey, Gigi, good morning. Growing with Hudson. Love y'all cartoon sales. Too cute. Thank you. Appreciate that. Good morning. Good morning to you all. It's a brand new week. We got a brand new week. Put the T's in the chat. If you're thankful for a brand new week, put the T's in the chat. Gonna get started. I'm trying to get my laptop set up here. That's been the cause of my delay. I do apologize, but hopefully y'all can at least hear me. And let's see, go all the way down to the bottom, make sure my nose running out here this morning. It's cool. It's cool this morning. Good morning. Put the T's in the chat if you're thankful. I see a T. My Renaissance, you're thankful. Okay. So you can hear me and see me then. Yeah, Grand Rising, Kathy B. Grand Rising. If I miss you, I apologize. Go ahead and leave your comment below so I can recognize you, because I did come in a little bit late. But I see the T's. I see the T's. Look at the T's. I see some thankful people. TLC thankful. My Renaissance definitely thankful. Ask the Lawman, what's going on, my brother? Many blessings to you. Family Man, he's thankful. Belinda's thankful. Brother Lawrence thankful. Ask the Lawman is thankful. God's construction, we already know you thankful. T's, yes. Thankful, thankful, thankful. Look at Kathy B. Kathy B is thankful. B. Bundy, how you doing this morning? Happy blessed Sunday to you as well. Many blessings to you. Miss Anita, she thankful. Yeah, everybody thankful. Dana Springs thankful. Yes, we are thankful. Odoms, yes, yes, yes. We are thankful, thankful, thankful. Sounds good. Okay, okay. Good, good, good. So I think y'all ready. Think y'all ready. Think you're ready for this week. Hopefully you got some big plans coming up this week. Hopefully everything is going to go your way. Everything's going to go aligned in your way. And we're going to get into here. And first of all, I'm going to tell you welcome, welcome, welcome to Eco Nation. Hold on 1 second. Let me mute this. I knew it was going to do that. All right. Apologize about that. I knew when that laptop come in, it was going to be loud. Welcome into another session of Eco Nation news that you may or may not be able to use. Today, we're going to kind of go through a couple of things. We got a couple of things on the menu. The dogs, as you all can see, they running around. They're doing fine. Musa and let me not say it too loud because they'll come. They've been off in the woods. They done found another deer, and Yeah, so if you see a deer part in the mouth, just understand they done found another deer. I had no idea that so many deers um lose their life in the woods, and these dogs will find out the deers. I saw a new leg this morning because I know I got rid of all the rest of them. Because after a while they be hanging around here, they bring other animals here, and then the smell itself, I just that rotten flesh around me is just too much, and they'll hang on to these things forever. But I thought I had cleaned up everything, got everything, but apparently they have found another one this morning. So shout out to Shaka. And oh, you need the link? Okay, hold on for 1 second. Let me grab this link. And if y'all want to come in, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Let me see if my computer don't fail me now. Computer don't fail me. Invite. Yeah, computer is acting up. Your browser mic is blocked. But yeah, we're on the homestead, and I done talked them up. Here they go. And do not bump my table. Do not bump the table. That's them. They're just wild and happy. And as y'all can hear, Sean and the chickettes are doing good. They're laying eggs on a regular basis right now. They're doing very well with that. Let me see. I almost got the chat going on. Hold on 1 second. I'm getting ready to drop the link if you want to jump on in. GG, you want to jump on in? That's fine. Anybody want to jump on in? I'm sending the link out right now. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, people. Y'all come on to jump on in. I just put the link in the chat. And if you want to, you can come on in and let's have this conversation. We'll go through this conversation. So the link is in the chat. Beautiful. I see a guest. That's me. Okay. All right. So with that said, as long as it only animal by yeah. Please, Lord, don't bring no other bodies around here. Yeah. Please. I mean, yeah. You're absolutely right about that. I'm thankful that they're deer so far. Hopefully nothing else. I think we had a coyote hide. They done brought in uh let's see, armadillos. They done brought in deer. Seen a fox, piece of a fox. Um, what else have I seen? Oh man, I know it's something else that was weird because I had to take a look at it. Hadn't seen any possums. I don't know, don't nothing really like any possums too much. But so far it's been mainly deers, mainly deers. So the majority of all the carcasses have been just deers. I can always tell they love those legs, and one of them they got the whole strap, the back strap. I mean, the whole vertebrae. How you doing, Gigi? Welcome
Hi,
in.
good
Welcome in. Good
morning.
morning, Sylvia. How you
Good
doing?
morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me, Gigi?
I can hear you. I can hear you good.
Perfect.
Good
Perfect.
morning,
Perfect.
everybody.
Perfect. Let me cut up the volume. Make sure I can hear you. So, how you doing this morning?
Chat. Good morning, chat. I'm wonderful. Wonderful. How are you doing?
Blessed, super blessed. I'm thankful and blessed. It's been a challenging week for me personally. It just, sometimes you just be going through things, and you get out here sometimes, and you get the grind, and then you get this little lonely spell. You know what I'm saying? And I've been kind of going through some things, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good. I'm looking forward to a brand new week, looking forward to progress, looking forward to growth. And I'm also looking forward to blessings upon blessings. How about you?
Oh, same. Absolutely. Same.
So, so I don't know, have you heard, but did you know that I think about a week or so ago, there was a earthquake outside of Florida on the Atlantic coast. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
When have you ever heard of an earthquake around Florida?
And listen, it's there's a lot of stuff happening that just makes no sense. It makes no sense. But when we are messing up the environment the way we are, you got people out here with a lot of money who are playing with the environment, all the oil and stuff that is being taken out of the earth's core. There's just so many things that, in my personal opinion, that contributes to um, a lot of just unusual things that we have never seen before. Um, that's happening. That's just
Yeah.
my opinion, though.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you say we take a lot of natural resources from the land. Um, I get a lot of pushback sometimes when I'm clearing the land and clearing the property, and I just want to let the people rest assured that even though you see me clearing land, I would say probably max we may have cleared all together with the different spots, maybe an acre and a half to 2 acres.
Yeah.
Um, and I know it looks like it's a lot that we're clearing, but like I said, it's wooded 20 full acres of wooded. And at the max, we might have 2 acres. And you
Mhm.
got to clear out a place to grow. You got to clear out a place to build. And I get it. A lot of people be like, hey, you're knocking down all the woods, but in reality, we're not. We're not. If you look at, if this was a neighborhood, they would probably knock down every single tree on this
Everything.
property. Hold
Everything.
on for a second. One of the dogs is crying. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Okay.
Luther, Doctor.
Oh, good morning, everybody. God's Construction. How are you doing? Good to see you. B Bundy. Hello. Hello. How are you doing? Nice to see you as well. Thank you. Love the hair. I love it too. Thank you so much. It's growing like crazy now. I'm going into my third year of locks. So yeah, it's growing like crazy now. Thank you very much for that. Kathy B, how are you doing today? Good to see you. Awaken Seed Planner. Peace to you. I've never seen you here before, but thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Kathy B, constantly playing with the environment. I hate them chemtrails. Yes, they are real, and then people are shocked and surprised. I'm sorry, y'all. My husband didn't mute before he started yelling at the dogs. But people are shocked and surprised at all of the weird stuff that is happening. But if you keep abusing the earth the way we do, I mean, it's inevitable that this is going to happen. My Renaissance grandma, how you doing? Good to see you. Ask the lawman, how you doing? Yeah, I am sitting outside of Planet Fitness right now. Listen, I got to get back in the gym. It's been too long. I've been doing all of this stuff and trying to get my diet healthier and all of that type of stuff, trying to get my thyroid back balanced. So back on medication. Um was supposed to be taking it, but stuff happens. But my doctor called me out just recently, so I'm back on the thyroid medication and hoping that it's gonna
You
help
see,
me.
Gigi? You see what they
Hey,
dragging around?
I'm in the chat, so I can't see.
Oh, this is
But
what they
what they
dragging
got,
around now.
a deer? What
And
they
look
got?
how long it is.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me switch back over. Sylvia, how you doing? Let me switch back over. Um, can't see anything, babe. I can't see anything. I can't see what they're dragging. And then my glasses got broke. I don't see my backup pair, so I had to go over to the other chat so I could see it bigger.
Yeah,
What
they
what are
they
they dragging?
they dragging around this. I don't know. It's a spine. It got to be. I, it's a deer, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what they was doing. They done ran it off and they into some kind of mischief, but I got them.
Okay. Okay.
But like you were saying about the imagine if you were rich though. Imagine if you owned everything that you wanted. And sometimes I don't think we even think about that. Imagine if you wanted to, you done went to your vacation, you done owned vacation spots, you done got the fabulous cars, you got everything you ever wanted. Man gets bored, and then even me, just the average man, right? Work, come home, whatever. I still want things for my kids, my grandkids. I want to leave a legacy, right?
Hmm.
So imagine if you had everything. A lot of times we we just we try to obtain so much stuff, and then we try to see and do so many different things. It's like sometimes I scratch my head, what makes a man want to go out, and I watch some of these shows to just be like, hey, I think I'm finna kill a giraffe, or I'm finna kill a rhino, or I'm finna kill an elephant, I'm finna kill a grizzly bear, you know. And then, oh my goodness, if I leave a message saying, what was the point? They get upset at me for just asking, because I can't wrap my brain around, you know, I done got so bored that I just want to go and look out for. And I ain't knocking. I get some people, but I get it if you're trying to obtain something to feed your family, to provide a source for something. But to just go out and just, I don't know. I can't wrap my brain around that thing. And so I think about, when you talk about the natural resources, we take so much oil out the ground. Um, we try to travel outside to another country, and we build bigger guns and missiles and all this kind of stuff. I think it deals with trying to achieve more than what the next man have achieved. If I don't know if that makes sense, but to me that
I
seems like
mean,
the situation.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that, sometimes they just get bored. I heard one celebrity say, once you've obtained everything, then
What's up,
what?
Be Rich?
What's next? How you doing, Be Rich? Dinosaur bones.
Yeah, yeah,
They said,
man.
once you've obtained everything that you wanted in life, what is next? And so if you recall the movie, The Hunger, not the Hunger, yeah, The Hunger Games was one of them. And then the other one was Squid Games. And then they had a new one just came out just recently, right? That was like the Americanized version of the Squid Games. And
Hmm.
so if you watch to the end of those movies, what you will see are the elites. You'll see the
Mm.
elites, and you'll see that this was all a game to entertain the elites. So once killing a giraffe is no longer fun, or a um, lion is no longer fun, or any of the wild animals on the magnificent motherland continent. Once you've done all of that, then who do you start killing then? Who's next? They
Yeah,
start
I
playing a
mean,
game. They start killing people then.
yeah. The thing is,
Sorry.
yeah, I know you're not, but yeah, the thing is, it gets to the point where, somebody said it best: enough is enough. When is enough is enough? It's almost like, we think about a lot of people that are seriously wealthy, and nothing against, worked hard, or you done earned, or some other people been bored, whatever reason why you're wealthy. It still comes a point in a time where you have to just ask yourself, I don't know. It's like, I don't really have this desire to just be just stupid, extremely rich. I want to be comfortable. I want to be good. I do want to leave something for my kids, but it comes to a point where if you just got so much of abundance, it only makes sense to kind of reach back and give back, whether it's in nature, whether it's the environment, whether it's people, whether it's kids, mothers, or what have you. And it seems like with the creativity of the use of using these harsh strategies, it seems like you could still use that same energy to come up with some ways to provide resources to people who are lacking. You know what I'm saying? My cart runneth over. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody in the chat. Good morning. Good morning.
So, so I think it's in April, coming up this April, April the 8th. Y'all check me to confirm this. But Ohio, if you're in the state of Ohio, if you're anywhere near the state of Ohio, look out for around April the 8th, if I'm not mistaken. There's going to be a solar eclipse. And they
Mm,
said it's the first time in that area that has seen that in over 200 years.
mm,
And they're talking about closing down schools. They talking about doing a lot. It's supposed to be a big thing, you know. Um,
really?
yeah, yeah, it's supposed to be big because they say they're expecting a lot of people to come into the state to travel to see it.
Mm,
Because some of us won't see anything like that again in our lifetime. I remember in grade school, uh, I think I was what fifth, sixth grade, about fifth or sixth grade, the last time I saw one. A
mm,
full, like I say, a full solar eclipse.
mm.
Do you remember seeing one? They said don't look up at the sun. I remember we bought these little shades. Um, I can't remember. I want to say like $5 at the time or something like that. And I remember we got these shades, and some of us was peeking over the shades to still look at it, even though we weren't supposed to.
Yeah, I remember my last job, there was a solar eclipse that happened.
Yeah, it was full.
I don't remember, but I remember everybody like running outside, and then they were like, "No, don't look at it." With the bad eyes. That's how I remember it, because it was like, you know, it was a little comical. It was in the middle of the day, but yeah, I do remember that happening.
So Indiana Jackson, how you doing? 762 says yes, Indianapolis will have the eclipse also. Yeah, that apparently it's an area that will um have this solar eclipse, and they say it should have a full eclipse where you only have the outer edge of the sun kind of shining through.
Mm,
And so that's going to be pretty interesting. And then, like I said, they're talking about closing schools. They talking about closing um, public buildings, a bunch of different stuff. So it's supposed to be something pretty major in that area. So I thought that
mm.
was kind of interesting too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Be Rich, appreciate that. Be Rich too. And Be Rich said, I remember that in grade school. Yeah, yeah. Be Rich ain't old enough to remember that in grade school.
Be Rich pretty
Maybe you talking
old
about the
now.
one Gigi. Maybe you talking about the one Gigi
Don't
said.
let him fool you. Be Rich pretty old now.
Be Rich still a young buck. Happy Mac said yes. When I was little, made a hole in a shoebox to see it. Whoa, I kind of remember that. Yeah, a hole in the shoe. I forgot all about that. Everything got so quiet and eerie. Yeah, I remember that too, Happy Mac. That it was very eerie when it happened. And I know people probably in Alaska, they used to like the night being the day and the day being the night, but
Mm,
I remember leading up to that, it was just so eerie, you know. It was just the eerie feeling. And it was quiet. I do remember that too. What's up, hands in the dirt? Good
hey,
morning. Good morning.
Angela.
Hey, stay blessed, God's construction.
Take care.
My Renaissance says the eclipse will be from Texas
Oh,
to Maine on April the
oh,
8th.
okay.
Wow. That's a long span
Wow. Okay.
from Texas to Maine.
Mm.
Wow. I didn't know it was going to be like that. What? B Rich said he 47. What? Boy, I, hey, I even seen you face to face. I thought you would be a whole lot, little bit younger than that. But I guess, hey, God been good to you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You got a little grownness to you then. You remember a few things I might remember too. Yeah, everybody speaking to each other. Yeah. So with that said, some of the things that we're getting ready to experience this spring, I'm kind of reluctant with doing a lot of planning right now because this temperature has been very, I don't know, it's been all over the place. It's
Yeah.
like it's like we are here in the middle of February, and it's typically cool in February. But I've noticed over the last few years, the coolness hangs around a little bit longer than what it used to. Now,
Absolutely.
we may go 1 week in the 70s, and then the next week
We
we in the
did.
50s.
We
You
we
know what
and
I'm
we
saying?
did just recently, and everybody was walking around with they windbreakers and shorts and flip flops on, and then all of a sudden it's like everybody was like, "Woo, where did this cold come from again?" Hey, Ten, how are you doing? Everybody was
Awaken
like, "Where did this
seed
cold
planter.
come from all again? All of a sudden?" So yeah, it's just 1 week to 1 day to the next. Really, here, you just don't know what you're gonna get. You just
You
really
don't.
don't. You have to
You
dress in
don't.
layers.
And it's weird because certain things you want to plant and certain things you want to hold off on because when you run it. Hey, here we go.
Oh God. Okay. Let me go back to chat. Oh boy, him and these dogs. I swear. So anyway, um, he was talking about certain things you want to plant, but you just know that from 1 day to the next,
You gonna stop?
it could take you
Stop it.
out. It could take your plants out. Eco neighbor.
Stop it.
It's almost like he have two little kids, boy kids at that, two little kids, and always got to be on top of them for some reason.
I'm gonna have to start putting them up when I go live, man.
Yeah.
They they won't do right, man. They just won't do right.
But anyway,
So
you were saying
do
you
I know?
you want to you were saying you want to plant certain things, but then
Yeah, because the weather right now is getting a little bit crazy, and I'm sticking with brassicas right now. I'm thinking that's probably the safest way. I'm glad we bought some broccoli. I want to get some more broccoli. I'm gonna try to get that planted. Um, I'm thinking that right now the safest thing is brassicas. I'm kind of concerned about the citrus again because I think this week we're gonna dip into the low 30s.
mm,
One of the nights, I think tomorrow night, we're supposed to get down to maybe 32. Um, it's a battle.
I
It's a
think it's
battle
gonna
with
be fine.
trying to just let it grow and let it go because until it matures and hardens, it's like it's a back and forth type situation.
I think the citrus is gonna be fine. I think I'm more concerned with things like the papaya, the avocado, the some of those. I'm more concerned with those because even our lime trees are doing fine. They may drop the leaves, but they're doing fine. Hi, Karen and Thomas. But I think the citrus are going to be fine. They just kind of some of them are dropping the leaves, but they're okay. And I think we're going to get a little more warm days. How you doing, Nikki? We're gonna
So
get
Nick,
a little more warm days to where we're not really gonna have to be concerned about those. But I went this morning when I was walking and looked at the where the avocados are planted and the what's it called? My sour sops and the sugar apples. Those are the ones that I'm more concerned about. Callie, bro, how you doing?
what's up,
I'm more
juicing with Jay?
concerned about those than the citrus because the citrus actually did better than I anticipated. How you doing, Gina?
Tina,
Did better than I anticipated this year, so I'm happy with how the citrus turned out. So uh thought the raising kids thing was over then.
yeah, I thought it was over too. Yeah, I got kind of volunteered into this puppy ownership, and I'm thinking
Oh my
probably I should
gosh.
have just said no, I'm not ready at this time. But yeah, yeah, it is what it is right now.
But I don't know. It's been both good and bad with the fact that, we were able to keep a lot of stuff away um from, we have coyotes, we have raccoons, we have all types of stuff. And I think we've been able to keep a lot of that away. We don't have so much concern about hearing the chickens screaming in the middle of the night and all of
Yeah,
that type of stuff, because having those dogs around, they keep a lot of
stop.
nonsense
I
down.
didn't
They
call
really
you.
do. But at the same time, it's like, kids. You
Yeah,
just got
these are
kids that don't
these
ever
kids
grow up.
are quite different. Um,
Yeah.
like I said, I've had a lot of dogs in my life. Growing up, I used to raise a lot of dogs. People used to drop off dogs at my home, and matter of fact, I used to help out with the when we first established a humane society. It was down the road from me, and I used to go down there and volunteer and stuff as a kid. But I
Mm.
never had no dogs like these before. These are something else, man. These are
They different.
they they something else, and they got the amount of energy that I couldn't even explain. Um, they're constantly into something. They're constantly trying to negotiate something. I mean,
Yeah.
they're constantly they're very active.
They need
That's all
work.
it is.
They
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 what?
need work. They need work, and they
Yeah,
need some pro training, um because they are just very they inquisitive. They want to
yeah.
know about everything that's going on. They want to know about it. They want to be involved with everything. And so those type of dogs, like, they're working dogs. They need something to do. They don't like idle time. For them is like, is terrible. They have to have something to do at every moment of the day until they just wear themselves out and just pass out. So,
So do me a favor. Tell me a little bit about your teas you've been doing here lately.
oh, I have, as a matter of fact, I got one with me.
Mhm.
Um this one is the sunshine sunset, whatever it is. But this thing is amazing. I love my Yeti cup. Compliments of the hubby. I love it. Absolutely love it. Um but yeah, I have just been kind of indulging in a lot more um of the teas, because I love tea. I'm not really a coffee drinker or anything like that. So I love teas. And so I've just been kind of branching out to try different types. And so yeah, I just been kind of sharing it with the people. But yeah, this thing smells like heaven.
Yeah, I woke up to that this morning. It was like cinnamon or something.
Yeah, yeah, it's like pumpkin and cinnamon and vanilla, and it's amazing. So,
But you
but yeah,
know, going back to
just
those
having
like
fun basically.
papayas, those I was just thinking about when you were saying papayas and you was talking about like some of the other plants. I don't know if I'm really gonna be hooked on trying to grow like exotic trees or things that grow in the subtropical region because I know they say the grow zone has changed, but what I think that the zones in extreme heat is probably leveled up to maybe zone 9, but in coolness, to me, it's like it's gone backwards
Yeah,
because
but you
we
know what?
really didn't get a lot of good hard cold for a long period of time. We probably would get maybe like out of the winter time, maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 days of just cold weather. But now it's like a regular occurrence. You know what I'm saying?
And I was talking to Shannon's mom the other day, and she said, "Man, it's going back to like when I was a child." She's in her 60s. So she's like, it's going back to when she was a child. She said, "I remember it used to be cold. It used to be so cold that we would have icicles. She said she can
Really?
remember, yeah, she can remember having icicles. It would get so cold down here. So I don't know.
So
It's
so
just
I get
it was just before our time. We just didn't know about how
so
cold it would get.
it could be a cycle. You know what I'm saying? And we hadn't
Yeah,
experienced that cycle. But
yeah.
that's good to know that it's just going around because the Earth will reset itself. So I understand. I totally
And
get
it
that.
has to. It has to. And it's just like when COVID first happened. And all of the people, it was like a ghost town. Like we didn't hardly see anybody, and we could walk and be left alone and not be bothered, and just really enjoy being outside. And it was almost like things were resetting, like the earth was resetting itself, because there weren't a whole lot of cars moving. There weren't a whole lot of people all over the place. And so you could just we noticed just the little things. There were subtle things, and it was like, wow, the earth is really resetting itself. And so then you think back to some of those TED talks that you hear about with little people talking about if we can decrease the population, and then you're like,
There you go.
okay, that's what they're talking about. That's what they're talking about. Like the earth will take care of itself if we get rid of.
My baby,
My
and that
bad. I'm sorry.
the leading of humans, boy.
Look,
You could be talking about candy. You could be talking about working out, anything. My baby gonna be like, you know what they say about that?
I'm just
It's
saying.
gonna get to the leading of humans somehow.
Look, they trying it in every way, in the water, in the food, in the air, every type of way. They trying it every way.
So Stacy said the weather is crazy here. Warm to cold, cold to warm. I'm confused. I'm confused too. It's like you don't know how to prepare. You
Yeah.
basically gotta have a little bit of everything. Like I used to keep jackets and stuff in the cars and stuff. Um, but even when it comes to planning and stuff, you just gotta.
Oh my gosh. I wish he would just let it go. He is too easily distracted. So here's what happens, y'all. So Shaka, who is our little old man, we call him the little old man because he looks like a little old man. Um, he's our love bug, our baby. He wants to always be all over you, have you always petting on him. And when he gets with his brother, though, he's the bully. So he always will have Musa crying and all of this stuff. So we're gonna have to get or build another pen to kind of separate them, because as much as they play, like Shaka is going to, he's the dominant one. He's gonna dominate Musa, and he will literally be standing on top of Musa. So it's one of those things where I've never had two male dogs before. And so this is new for me as well. But in one night, my daughter was calling my phone, and then we were standing, me and Eco was standing in the RV talking, and then all of a sudden we were like, what is that noise? Well, Shaka was beating up Musa. So this is just his thing. This is what he does. They are, fighting for their territory. I hate the day that a female dog wanders on our property, because they're gonna try to kill each other about this female dog. It's just one of those things, a sibling rivalry, and he is going to, he'll play all day, but he gets very serious. He is aggressive about making sure that Musa knows that he is the man. So that's what's happening. From now on, put them up. Put them up before you go live.
Yeah, I just put them up. I just put them up. But another thing is that's why I try to keep a lot of the wild game out from around here because what they do, they get very competitive with like Musa is the one that he like to antagonize. So what Musa do, he'll grab a stick or he'll grab something and he'll be like, just say they found a leg out there in the woods. So Musa will pick up a stick or something and act like it's the amazing thing, and he'll just kind of toy with Shaka, and then Shaka will be like, "Okay, I'm finna drop this, but I'm finna take this from him because he ain't finna get this." Or what he'll do once that happens, he'll drop that stick and let him get that stick. He'll run around and let him chase him, and then he'll go back and get that leg that Shaka dropped, and then that ticks Shaka off, and next thing you know, Shaka be like, how you get me like that? No, and then he go to that's when they get into it. And that's what I was just watching. I'm like, I'm sitting here watching. They found another leg, and I'm looking at Shaka. He just going to work on the leg. And he got another spine over here, but he won't let Musa eat on nothing, right? So what Musa do, he just picked up a stick. He got a stick. He act like the stick was the bomb, chewing on the stick and just kind of taunting him. And then next thing you know, Shaka start eating on the leg. He get up. Next thing you know, he dropped the stick. He go to the leg, and there it is. They get into it, and it's like I don't
Mm.
know. And sometimes Shaka be messing with Musa like that. So they just I mean, they love each other. They just aggressive. I mean, when I say they're aggressive, whatever moving out here in these woods, they going after it, and they just go hard. They just go hard. I just put them up now, and they got they nice little pen. Eventually, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to get
we're
another.
gonna have to. Yeah, we gotta separate them. We're
Yeah,
gonna have to
eventually I'm gonna
separate
have to
them.
get another pen.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna have to separate them because the older they get, the more testosterone builds,
Hmm.
and yeah, they get into the part where it's just a pack. That's what they got their own pack ever since they were babies. I'm talking about little bitty babies. Shaka knew he was the man. Matter of fact, um, the young man that gave me these two, um, he he said this one the dominant. He was the smallest one, but he was the dominant one. And then Musa always like he's not right unless Shaka is okay. And it's almost like he welcomes to be in a submissive position. And he almost like that's my work, that's my job to make sure that I'm in that position. You know.
Hmm.
Now the only time when Musa got the better of him, um, one time Shaka got sick, and
Yeah,
Shaka was not doing well, and Musa took full advantage of it. Musa
he
was
did.
Musa was the
He
dominant
did.
one, and
Yeah.
he let Shaka know it. But the moment
Hmm.
Shaka got better, all
Hmm.
that just turned
Went out
all
the
the way
window.
around.
Yeah.
But they're
But
not much like
anyway,
us, y'all. Them
they
look, I
just
didn't
like
grow up.
you,
I
just
didn't
like
grow
you.
up around siblings.
Yeah.
It took me almost 40, 50 years before I even realized how siblings do each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, y'all brothers and sisters, what are y'all doing? Why
Yeah.
y'all? That's the way how siblings do.
Same stuff. Same stuff. But anyway,
Yeah. Look, and this the thing, my renaissance. You can't separate them. Like, like one time Shaka got out of the cage, and Shaka he found his way out of the cage, and he ran around and he kept running back and forth, and he was trying to show Musa how he got out. He kept going to the spot that he got out. He kept going to the spot, trying to be like, "Hey, right here, this is how you get out." But these dogs, they got a strength too. Like I got a wire cage. They literally have pulled the framework apart out of this cage, right? and I have to bend it back from time to time because they literally like pulls it. Like if you familiar with a gate, um, or even like a fencing, there's a metal rod that goes through. They done pull so much on that metal rod that they bend it and open up a hole so they can stick their head out of it. But what Shaka was doing, he kept looking for me because he knew he was wrong. He knew he was dead wrong. And that's the thing. They very, very highly intelligent. So I stepped outside and I said, Shaka, what you doing? And he had his head down and he wagging his tail. And I said, you know, you out here, you're not supposed to be out here. And then next thing you know, I went by the cage to let him back in because he was trying to get back in, but he couldn't get back in. And so what I did, I let him run around the cage. And he was like, man, let me get in, let me get in, let me get in. I wouldn't let him in. And because I want him to realize you're not comfortable out here unless you're supervised. You're not good out here unless you're being watched. And so once I opened up that cage, put that crack in that cage, he darted in the cage, boy. And Shaka is the one that don't want to go in the cage when it's time to go in the cage. But just like then, here they are, they battling, they fighting, and the fresh smell of this dead stuff, I gotta move these bones out from around me. But the moment that I just got onto them, I said, come on, let's go. Because what I say, I said, take it to the house, take it to the house. Whenever I say take it to the house, they already know it's time to go in. And normally Shaka will be like, I ain't going in. I'm not going in. But when that he was the first one to go in because he knew it wrong. They know when they wrong. They know when they and this is the thing. If I was in the RV or if I were working doing something else, they'll just be doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? But when they know they got an audience, they know people watching them, they
Oh
know
yeah,
they got some attention. Oh my goodness, man. They're gonna try to find some kind of way to make you see them. It's
they
just like
do.
right now. Why they ain't fighting now?
Hmm.
Why they ain't battling now?
Hmm.
One of them laying down, the other one eating dog food.
Hmm.
They just love the attention. They love the attention. But hey, like I said, before you get some of these, please talk to us. Please talk to us.
Don't do it.
Yeah, they very competitive and they smart. Musa trying, yeah, Musa was trying to get back. That's right. And
Hmm.
and like I said, so is life. I mean, everything that they do, it makes sense. It's like that's what I get so frustrating to me is because I can relate to every single thing they doing. None of this stuff they doing is like, oh my God, this don't make any sense. This don't. Everything is a strategy. Everything is a calculated step, and
Hmm.
every move I can like right now, I can tell when they're getting ready to get into something by the look on their face. I can tell when they're getting ready to run off in the woods. I can tell when they're trying to get my attention. I can tell when it's just so much I can just tell because you stay around them enough. It's like they can talk to you without words. But sometimes if you don't pay attention, they can get vocal too. They'll be like, oh, like you trying to talk to me. I got a
Yeah,
little clip of that when I on my video when I was
yeah,
trying to let them out, and
yeah,
then Moose will be like, come on, man, open the
yeah,
gate.
yeah.
He'll do like, he'll go trying to talk to me, and I'm like,
It was shocking this morning when I would let him out. It was
oh,
him.
Shaka was talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was like, "What are you waiting on?" But I try to let them calm down. Aren't the dogs Belgians? They are very smart and high energy and make to be great escape artists. That is why law enforcement tends to use that breed. Absolutely,
So
all of that.
so you're absolutely right. So they're mixed with Belgium
And
and
German
German
Shepherd.
Shepherd. Now, the from my understanding, the dad was a German Shepherd, and he was a police dog. Um, and the mother was the Belgium. But I don't know what's the history behind the mother, but they said that the father was a police dog. So yeah, they super intelligent, man. They full of
Mhm.
energy. And they cool. Don't get me wrong. They real cool, man. It just, you need land, you need space, and you
Yeah.
need time.
Thankfully, we have lots of space for them
I
to
couldn't
be able
imagine if
to
I had this in the
run.
neighborhood.
Cannot, don't recommend unless, like, I have seen some of them that are so well trained that they don't leave their owner side. But even the ones that are very, very trained, they're still so antsy. They just like the energy is like they can barely be still, but they trained well, so they stay focused on their owners. But
and they
man,
and they
I
and they
wouldn't.
love pleasing too. They
If
like
you're a
one.
runner, I would say that if you have time, not somebody that's got the dogs in an apartment and locked up. You know, people have a lot to say about having them in a pen instead of inside. I know most people have their dogs inside. We live in a country and we're not having these wild dogs inside for any reason. They need space to be able to run. They have that on our property. Um, they got 20 acres of ours. They got 20 acres next door. They got 80 acres here. They have a lot of space around us where they can run and they can just run
and
their
they
little
and
hearts
they
out.
try
And
to
they
cover
do.
the 80, the 20,
They
and the
try to
other
cover
20,
it
and the
all.
20 in the back. So it's like
They do.
we got like this crazy, like, only people on the block type thing. But except it's a
Yeah.
country block. It's like we're in
Right.
the center of, it's like 80 on the right side, it's 20 on the left side, it's like 120 in front, and in the back it's another 20. And so it's like, when I tell you
Right.
they'll try to cover all of it, when they get out, they be trying to hit it all.
Yeah.
Seriously. They
So
be
they
running
have
so
plenty of
hard,
space to
they come
run.
back, they heart like they about to jump out the chest.
So I would say that if you a marathon runner, then yeah, you can get these dogs and just take them with you to run a marathon every day. They gonna need it every day because they have a lot of energy.
So 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 baby girl, let's talk about preparation, right?
Yeah,
Did you see my video where I kind of showed one of my stash boxes?
yeah, I did.
Yeah, you saw my stash box. So a lot of times as we prepare for whatever, this stash box could be in a situation where if things get off the hinges and we need resources, you know, having those different stash boxes on the property will allow us to be like, oh, if we need some food or we need a little jackets or a first aid kit or whatever, we have some stashes kind of laid out, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
then there's other ways that you can prepare. So my question is, if next week internet shuts down, what are some of the things you are prepared for if we don't have any internet? Because first of all, before I ask you this, let's go through what the internet is connected to and some of the things that would power down. Some of the power station for electricity would power down. Traffic lights would power down. GPS would power down. So some transportation, some deliveries would shut down. You have gas stations were shut down in some cases. Some of the office temperature would not be regulated well because some of that is done remotely through the internet. Of course, the internet itself, YouTube, other things, Google, because a lot of people use Google on a daily basis, or they use Siri on a daily basis to guide them and to help them. um, AI, chat GBT would be down. Some people jobs kind of center around AI. And I'm going to touch on the AI too from an article that I heard just this week. And I know you heard some of it, but we're going to go into that too. But talk to me about some of the things that you think would change in your life if we did have an interruption with the internet. And let's just say we had an interruption for 2 weeks of no internet.
Hmm.
Because in my lifetime, I don't think the internet has been down completely.
Mm-mm. No, no, it has. Everything would change for me.
Everything would
Everything,
change for you. Talk to me.
everything would change. I mean, all of the obvious stuff that you already named, being able to just go get gas, for the car, for the generator. We hooked up the propane right now. um, Being able to go and get basic things. So that's why I think it's so important to go ahead and do everything that you can to go ahead and get your stuff planted, get them gardens started, because if nothing else, if you can have nothing else, as long as you have a way to eat and drink, even if we just had to stay home, we had to find something to entertain us, we had to pull out our books instead of our Audible or whatever, just make sure you got something to eat and drink. Those are the essentially important things at the end of the day. So we got, bicycles. One of the bicycles came out of storage this week. So have a way that if you need it to move, you can. You just gonna have to deal with that seat. Gonna have to deal with the bicycle seat, doing
You
the
got to
damage
deal with
to
the
you.
seat.
I gotta deal with the seat
Yeah, yeah.
doing
So
damage
so
to
so
me.
you brought up some things, but I don't think a lot of people really understand the connectivity issue. Like if there was a true interruption, it's almost like a hurricane or natural disaster coming to your area, just knocking out everything. You know,
Mhm.
I think you would have. So you just say you couldn't go to your job, basically, right?
Right, right. So what I would do is, if an interruption happened, the last people that I'm worried about is my job. I'm concerned about saving the resources. So there ain't no way in the world that I would drive to Tallahassee if we had an interruption. I wouldn't go. I mean, that would just be the end of it as far as I was concerned.
Well,
I would be
if you go,
saving.
what would you do? What would you do? Because somebody said medical records and a lot of other things. Cassandra South Fulton Garden, how you doing? Said that I wouldn't be
I
able to work
Cassandra.
without internet. My job is remote.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
so
mean,
so let's talk about that. How many people would be impacted as far as they work? You think?
I think the majority of people, and this is also why we got to get back into promoting those hands-on jobs. How you doing, family man? It would be good. It would be good for us to get back to promoting those hands-on jobs, those jobs that you have to um, utilize your hand, your brain power. It's not like you just got a bunch of forms that are pop, 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 fill in, hit send type of thing, like stuff that you really have to do, like carpentry. Like, like you really gotta do that. If you can, the carpenters, those are gonna be the people that are gonna protect you. I keep getting this one commercial about the bags, the sleeping bags. They're not sleeping bags, they're just like bags that help to protect you from the elements. So the inside of the bag is made where it radiates heat right back onto you. And it's very, very thin. It's very, very small. It's probably, it can roll up to be like this big, but it can expand to be like 7 feet tall. And all you have to do is it's weatherproof, it's waterproof, it is cold resistant. All you have to do is just kind of fully wrap yourself, and you can be protected from the snowstorms and all of that stuff using this bag. That's one of the commercials that I keep getting on YouTube. And so I think it's important to think about that type of stuff. Think about if we ran out of gas, because I was saying there's no way that I would drive to Tallahassee, because I would be conserving that gas in order to go in the generator. I would be conserving everything that I can possibly conserve. And so if that means that I need to go ahead and order a few of these bags, then that's probably what needs to happen. Have those type of things on hand to where if for some reason your generator wasn't working, if for some reason your power was out. And I think a lot of people think that they're safe because they have power, because they have electricity. They really think that they're safe. And they think that we are the ones that are really chancing it.
So
But
let me ask you this question. Um, I noticed people talking about gas. They talking about like AC and different stuff like that. Most of the things that we would lose would be what people in the past would be considered modern day conveniences. Um,
mhm,
I like the thing that you brought up about saying that how many of us have skills that does not require any internet? How many of us have skills that does not require any like like you said, you got carpenters, you got plumbers, you got mechanics, you got a lot of different things, you know. You have wood cutters, you know, you got all different types of I guess different talents and different gifts. But how many of
mm,
us still keep those sharp and still keep on top of those? Or do we even have the resources to help with some of those talents and some of those skills? Do we even
mm,
still like I used to be a printer. A print a printing machine could run the old one could run off of basic hand labor, and then you had electricity. But I don't have the machines, I don't have the tools, I don't have a lot of different things. And so over a period of time, you might have a knowledge to do something, but do you still have the tools? Do you still have the manual tools that you can utilize to even use those different talents and those different gifts?
mm, mhm.
And
Yeah.
all in the soil said she went the homestead wouldn't miss a beat. And that's the beautiful thing about homesteading. You know, when you homestead and you're getting back to the roots, you're getting back to the fundamental type basic principles of life.
Mhm.
You're going back to things where you can be internet, you can be top of technology, but then it also gives you that extra tool where your whole living situation does not require any outside forces.
Absolutely. And so that's why I said, I'd be trying to conserve as much as possible. As much as possible. um, how would you get paid? Most likely electronic. So if I'm understanding your question right, you would barter. So if you're in a situation where you're not having any electricity, you're not have like the banks can't help you. Well, they could, but they ain't going to because they don't have they're not able to keep up with their records if they have everything electronic. And that's to me, that's the danger of having everything being electronic, this cashless system that they're pushing out, all of this stuff. That's the danger of all of this because it leaves those of us who are not in the elite position vulnerable. It leaves us vulnerable because we
So
are the ones.
so let me ask you this question. If you didn't get paid, what things would you need if there was no electricity? Or I shouldn't say electricity, no internet. There may be electricity in some places. The internet probably wouldn't shut it down. But my question is, what are some of the things that you would need if the internet was down for a couple of weeks?
To me, the basics. I would go all the way back to just the basics. I wouldn't care about anything else other than being able to stay cool, stay warm, um, everything and eat and drink. Nothing else would matter to me. None of the other stuff would matter to me because all we doing is just trying to survive. So if we can go back to like I can remember when I was a child, us having to put fans in the windows to put fans in the windows backwards to push out the heat in the summertime. We had big quilts. We had to put on our socks. We had to put on our pajamas. Like, we had to really bundle up. And there wasn't all of this, like, we didn't overuse anything. We didn't overuse the AC unit. We didn't overuse the heater, because if there was any time that stuff would go down, which the electricity did, it went down. If there was any time that it would go down, we wouldn't know what to do. But our parents knew what to do, because this is why the majority of them, they knew how to sew. They knew how to survive before all of these modern conveniences. And if we could think back to what our grandparents did, all the stuff that used to frustrate us and make us mad, and we don't want to have to do this, and why we gotta get up and boil water, why we gotta turn the stove on and then open the door to the stove so it can heat up this part of the house. All of the stuff that made us mad and frustrated us, that's the stuff that we gotta go back to. If you have, hello, panel guest Gigi. Hello, how are you doing? um Silver, yes. And Belinda, that's a great point. For those who don't know, that real silver can be used in more ways than one.
Yeah.
So you can make medicine, like you can make water with this silver
Sanitize.
to help cure, but to help cure diseases. This is how I helped our daughter. This is one of the ways that I helped our daughter with her eczema.
Slow down and break that down a little bit.
So there are ways that you can make, it's almost like a hydrosol. You remember when you did this video on, like, did you do a video on hydrosol or something like that?
Yeah,
So
the cedar.
okay.
The cedar.
So
Yeah.
it's the same type of process that they'll use in order to make the silver water. You can take the water internally. You can use the water topically to heal things on your body. You have cuts, you have abrasions, you have rashes, you have whatever. Or if you're sick and you have something going on inside. So there's so many things that we can do that we don't do because it's too much work for us. But if this thing goes down, like, family, what we gonna do?
Now
We
let me
gotta
ask you a
know.
question. Let me ask you a question, because you made my brain think a little bit. Imagine you're at your location, wherever that may be, and you needed an emergency, and you don't have no internet, so your cell phone don't work. A lot of us don't even have landline phones no more. We don't
Mhm.
have no two-way communication. We don't have a lot of different things anymore. So how would you call for help, or how would you even connect with your loved ones, or how would you even check on your loved ones?
Shoot, I mean,
Some people don't even have stamps no more. Some people don't even know how to mail a letter. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
and then something else kind of jumped out at me. I was thinking about my baby girl, and some of us couldn't even navigate outside our own city without some type of GPS or navigation.
Yeah. And
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 then
especially, if you like me, you don't have no sense of direction. Like, we got to get back to, like, some really primitive type of stuff, because if we don't, we would be lost. We would really be lost. I think mentally a lot of people would die. They would kill themselves mentally, just because they don't have the conveniences that they're used to.
now, before we go into the deleting of people, let's go to she gonna get there. I'm telling you, somehow we gonna get there. But Kathy B says, I have food in the garden and emergency water. Kathy B, that's awesome. My question is, do you have enough to last you 2 weeks? You remember we did at our last home. You remember we sat there and we tried to calculate how long we could make it out of our garden in the backyard. And
Yeah.
I got to get back to that part. I was more robust there than I am now because it's just so many different things. But um,
Yeah,
emergency
we
water,
had a lot going on, so
yeah, emergency water. Talk about emergency water. Did we think we had enough water before we started doing this? You remember at our home, we got water. We got plenty of water. We got water stocked up, and then we went on this journey and we found out, man, water is so important.
what you say. Absolutely. And that's one thing that I meant to say something to you about as well. You have to think about, like, people have a lot of people have some big imaginations when it comes to water and being able to access wells and things like that. You better know where some water is around you. Let me just say that part. You better know where a lake is or pond is. You better be ready. If you in Florida, you better be ready to fight some gators. Like, you really better be ready to go and get you some water, because how do you think that you're going to be able to access water from your well if you have an
Ooh,
electronic? Everything is
ooh,
electronic today, right? How are you going to be able to access water from your well
that
that has
I'm
been
telling
put
you,
in?
I am not, and I do not profess to be a electrical engineer or electrician, none of that. But it's a reason why I left that thumbnail to my generator, because some people they think, oh, I got a generator, yeah, and I've heard people say stuff like, well, I got my well, I got a generator. Do you know how to even connect your well to a generator? You know, remember, you don't have a phone, you can't call for an electrician. I guarantee that electrician probably trying to keep everything together on his home front or her home front.
Right, right.
So remember, do you even have the tools? Do you have the wiring? Do you know what gauge wiring you need to wire up to? Do you have a
Hmm.
plug that you can connect it to the generator? It's a lot of different things that we have, but are you really prepared? Are you really prepared?
And listen, y'all, a little solar power pack is not going to power your well.
Oh
A
no,
small generator is not going to power
nope.
your well. I'm
You'll
sorry
burn
to
up.
be the
Yeah,
bearer of bad news. It's
yeah.
a small generator is not going to power your well.
Do you know? And that's the thing. Do you know whether you got a half a horsepower well? Do you know you got a 1 horsepower well? Do you know you got a 2 horsepower well? 5 horsepower? I mean, do you really know? Or like us, how we were in the country. I mean, we were not in the country. When we was in the city, we had a community well. You remember that?
Hmm.
And I remember that sometimes a lot of times it would go out. Whenever there's a storm or whatever, it would go out.
Yeah.
Pretty much, if it seemed like it's gonna storm, we gonna probably need some water. So we'll fill up the tubs
Yeah.
and we'll fill up a little bit this and that. But if you had to, because no one's coming to save you, right? You
Hmm.
had to cut on your community well. Do you have enough power to power that? You know?
My Renaissance grandma said we have two lakes on the property filled with ducks. I'm just saying, and everybody else is gonna be in trouble. Y'all
Yeah.
gonna be all right. Y'all will be all right. Everybody else gonna be the ones in trouble. So that's why I said you better know where some water is. Sheesh.
And the crazy thing about that is different water matters. Some water you need to wash up with, some water you need to drink, some water you need to wash other things, some water you need to cook with, some water you need to rinse things off. And having that variety matters, but knowing what to do with that variety too matters. Like, you can't just go
If
into
you
some,
if
especially in Florida, you can't just go in these ponds and just think you can pull some water out and drink it.
listen, we saw the line the other day, didn't we?
Do what?
We saw the boo boo line the other day, didn't we?
We saw the
You
what now?
remember when we were driving past the treatment plant?
Oh, 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 yeah, 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 yeah. And
But
that, and
when you're in an
let me tell you, if
emergency
you're in the city,
situation,
if you're in the city, please be careful with. You think it's a lake or a pond, but it's really a runoff um reservoir. In those runoff reservoirs, you want to be careful. Don't think you can drink that water now, because that water, it might look like a pond, but is it man-made? What's going into that pond? How did that pond get fed? Does a spring feed that pond? Does a river feed that pond? Does another stream feed that pond? Or does that pond just sit there in the middle of nowhere? You don't see nothing feeding it. And but it always got water in it. If you see a pond like that, you better be cautious of it, because you might have some lumps in there that you might not want to drink on. You might not be drinking tea, you might be drinking some pee. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be mindful of that stuff. Be mindful of where your source is coming from.
make sure that you have a way that you can purify water many times over. Make sure that you have a way. Make sure that you're watching them videos and you know how to purify some water, because I'm telling you,
And, and,
it
and
gets
you know
it
something
gets
made me
rough
think
when you don't
about
have water.
one thing you was talking about, watching the, like our grandmothers and our mothers and our fathers and our grandfathers. They knew when to be still. They knew when to be quiet. Those simple things like that. I remember they used to tell us, go over there and sit down. It's the heat of the day, the middle of the day. Go over there and sit down somewhere. Do we even know? Because you can get dehydrated when the temperature is high and you don't have no AC. You don't have anything to cool you. And you may think you be drinking enough water, but you might not be fully hydrated. They
And
knew
that is
certain things.
exactly why I said I wouldn't be going nowhere. I would be right there at the property, cooking food over, get some wood. We got plenty of wood, cooking food using natural resources and saving the resources that are not as easily accessible to us.
Mm,
So we got to learn how to conserve, and that's one of the things that being off grid has really taught us, is how to conserve.
yes.
We want
We
to be
don't leave.
comfortable. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff we want to be as comfortable as possible. So there's a lot of stuff that, yeah, we spend money on gas and propane and all of that type of stuff, instead of getting the little bags and that type of stuff to sleep in. Yeah, we want to be more comfortable, and we can do that. But if you're in a situation where it's just difficult, like, you got to really know how to switch. You got to know how to pivot, and not be using all of your resources that could be a real lifesaver to you or to somebody else if you truly need it. But all the rest of the time, like, you got to get uncomfortable. You might have to just use that little bag and sleep in that little bag, instead of, or like for the military people. I remember Hands and Dirt one time talking about their the military sleeping bags that they had, and I think, like, you get naked in them, and then, like, that's how you can preserve your body heat. So all of that type of stuff gotta be thinking. We gotta be thinking outside of what we know.
Thank you, Be Rich. I appreciate it. He says, time to come together, build a community, and learn from each other. Well said. And that deals also with what you're talking about, getting uncomfortable. Sometimes when you uncomfortable and being prepared, it's just like some people, they never fasted in their life. They never eat intermediate fasted. They don't miss a meal. They don't miss drinking. They don't miss a lot of different stuff. They're
Mhm.
not used to being just cold. Whenever the temperature's not right, they gotta adjust. They're not used to being hot. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think what you were saying, that a lot of people gonna really suffer if something like that happens, because we're so used to being so convenient. We so used to being so comfortable. And then we so used to being what we want, when we want, how we want. We even in cars where we can adjust. I'm sitting next to you less than 1 feet, and I can adjust the temperature. I can adjust to everything that I like. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And when you get up in the morning, you realize that the electric is off because of the internet. You realize you can't make a telephone call. You realize that you can't look at your phone. You don't know the weather app. You don't know what's getting ready to happen, whether it's going to rain today, whether it's not going to rain today. And then you get up and you go outside looking for something to eat. And then if you're in the neighborhood, everybody going outside looking for something to eat. And then you talk about money, you talk about making those transactions. If you don't have a talent or a gift to bring to the table, then a lot of times you can't trade. Or
I just thought back when you said the other day, you said I said I needed to do something on the homestead, and you were like, but it's gonna be raining. So what you gonna do? And I'm like, I'm still gonna do it. What you mean? Still gonna do exactly what I planned on doing. Like the rain ain't gonna stop me, but a lot of people, the rain would stop them. Like you figure out a way to get stuff done.
and growing with Hudson say I have at least 12 months of food. My bucket will help
Right.
with filtering water. I catch
Nice.
rainwater too. I mean, that's what you call prepared. That's what you call
That's it.
prepared. And this is the thing. I just said 2 weeks. And I seriously couldn't imagine, especially our youth, being without the internet for 2 weeks. Because I had a
Mm.
conversation with little Gigi, and we was talking like, what did y'all used to do when there was no internet? And I was like, before there was no internet, we watched a lot of TV. Before there was
Mhm.
TV, listen to the radio, you know,
Mhm.
but we played games. I mean, how many of y'all know how to do Foursquare? Some of
Mhm.
us we don't even have balls we can pump up. We don't have footballs we can throw around. We don't have no frisbees. We don't have nothing manual. Stock up on your game with some manual stuff. Teach your kids some manual things. Teach your kids how to open up a can without a can opener. Teach your kids how to play Foursquare. You remember we used to play Foursquare? We'll draw out them boxes and hopscotch and all that kind of stuff, picking up
Absolutely.
marbles.
Double dutch and
Yes,
tag and flag football and like everything.
it was so many things we did, but we actually used physical, like we were physical with our things. We didn't just sit around or nothing like that. We was so active, and
Yeah.
when you went into a neighborhood, you could tell there were kids in the neighborhood because you could see the bicycles in the yard. You see kids running around, kids playing. You knew that
Mhm.
that was a neighborhood with kids. Now
Mhm.
you can't tell whether a neighborhood got kids or not.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't. I mean, a lot of them are not outdoors. Even in the country, we're riding through. We like, where is everybody? Like, where are all the people? Where are the children? Like, we do see some, but for the most part, it's sort of like you don't really see people outside. You don't see the kids riding the bikes anymore. You know, it's just tough. We were shocked when we got to we were like in between homes, and there would be kids that would come to the door. We were like, whoa. We were
Yeah,
shocked because they
I mean,
wanted to be outside
kids used
playing.
to come to your house and ask, "Did y'all have any kids? Can we play?" You don't remember that? You
Yeah.
don't remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Of
Hey,
course.
Gigi,
Yes.
Gigi,
Yes.
we got a guest. I know you
Oh.
can't see it.
Oh,
You see our
hey.
guest, D Hud.
How you doing, G-Hud? I didn't
How
even
you
see you
Hey,
doing?
because I was in the comment section.
hey.
How you doing?
Hey, welcome in. Thank you for coming in. Welcome in. What? Go ahead and give it to us. Go ahead and give us to it. First of all, first, do me a favor. Some of y'all that lives under a rock and haven't been out too many places, you might not know this guest right here, but I want her to introduce herself, tell about her channel, and then go ahead and just we're listening.
Hey, I'm growing with Hudson. I'm a gardener slash prepper slash um I grow in all aspects of life. Um, but I wanted to come up here because I was originally from Michigan and we had a blackout one year.
Mm,
And it was only certain states that was affected, but we didn't have power for like 4 days.
mm,
And um I I'm a couponer too. Well, I couponed more back then, but when you're a couponer, you stock up on everything anyways. So I was basically prepping then.
yeah.
And I remember I always fill up on my tank at the beginning of the week. And when the power went out, I was coming home from work and I was noticing that the street lights was off because I didn't know it was a power outage at first. And so you had people doing the four-way stops, at the four-way alleys on the streets.
Hmm.
But when I got home, because my mom stayed with me, she didn't have no gas.
Mm,
So we went to the gas station to try to get her some gas, and you should have saw the lines. It's almost like how when the pandemic, when gas stations was low of gas, and you saw those long lines, you would run out of gas just trying to get some gas.
Mm-hmm. That's
yeah.
right.
But it was so amazing, and that's why I say, a lot of people, well, some people don't believe in God, but he prepped me up for it. He put it in my heart to do what I do because we were good for those 4 days
Hmm.
because I prepared. I was stocked up.
That's awesome. And that's why the simple things matter. When you do, and we've been watching Growing with Hudson for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Um, with her Azure standards, like getting her stuff, like really getting her stuff together a little bit at a time. You don't have to have a lot
And
to
look,
save up a
I
lot.
she got a whole catalog, and if you just watch the beginning of her channel and all the way to now, man, what kind of growth and what I mean, I'm so proud of you. I mean, when you think about
Thank you.
the different things you've done, the different things you have learned, and you center around growing and growth and just being prepared. I have to tip my hats off to you because I mean, I just look at the growth and it's tremendous, you know.
But that's what I love about this community, because I believe we all are here because we're striving for the same things. And I admire you two because y'all where I'm trying to get. And the reason why I do a lot of things now is because when I get to where you guys are, I want to go running. I want to go running. I want to get my bees out there. I want to get my garden out there. I want to look in my back window and just see what God has set forth for me.
Marathon, marathon,
Right,
marathon.
Yeah.
Not a sprint. Just remember that. Once you get out there, you're gonna hear these words coming and playing in your head. Marathons.
right,
Yeah, it's
I'm so looking
definitely a
forward to it.
marathon. It's definitely a marathon, and we're still, we're trying not to build up a whole bunch of debt and that type of stuff. So, it's
yeah,
a lot of stuff that we could have done so much faster if we just go and max out some credit cards. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to do it to the point where we putting ourselves in a worse situation.
right,
It's about taking your time. It's about truly just doing things one step at a time. Don't be concerned about the people that's got to go everywhere at 100 miles per hour. Let them have it, but focus on what works well for you. Focus
right,
on, and the same thing that you've been doing for the last however many years that you've been storing and prepping and couponing and all of that stuff. Do it the same way once you get your homestead.
right,
Do it the same way, and that way you'll still be comfortable, even though you don't have all of the space or whatever that you were accustomed to having. You'll still be comfortable. You'll still put yourself in a position where you can still go ahead and stack up on all of these stuff. And one of the things that I really love about you as well is that you will try anything. You just like me. We like, I mean, it's Team Aries up in here. We will try anything. We will do anything. You've been making bread. You got vanilla. Like you just try anything and everything. And I absolutely love that about you and your channel. And so can you talk a little bit about some of the other things that you've tried and what it was like gaining those skills of things like bread making and understanding how to make things like vanilla?
My thing is with just dealing with our garden sister Cheryl Faulkner passing. Life is short, and whatever your heart desire, do it. We give our time to these jobs every day, all day. Do something for you, that's go move you forward. But as we speaking right now, I'm making some homemade croissants, and I've always wanted to make croissants. It's a long process, but that's what I want to do. So that video will be coming out soon too, because I'm almost I'm on my second day. So I'm excited about that because that's what I want to do. But I have a grain meal and I have wheat berries. So that's something else. If I can't go to the store for flour, I want to be able to get flour because I know I bake a lot. So that's the next thing I'll be venturing on also. But I'm excited for spring gardening. That's what I'm doing. So I got my start too. I'm all over the place, y'all. I'm all over the place.
And one thing about it, when you're growing and once you start getting into this, you do get excited when it comes like springtime. Oh my goodness, man, it's a gardener's dream.
Right.
And it's so true that, you learning different skills, you learning different things that you can do. But I love the fact that almost everything you're doing is manual. It's like something that can't be taken away from you, something that can't be, like we talked about money, getting your paychecks and getting this and getting that. We really don't touch a lot of cash. You talked about petty cash, having petty cash. For some people, they won't even care about money. They want resources. They're going to want those croissants. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, they don't care nothing about cash. When it comes to just survival, like Gigi say, when it comes to just plain water, having food. I think Nikki talked about potatoes. Potatoes last a long time. Anything that's starchy, anything that can last a long time in your belly, that takes a little bit more time to break down. Something that you can stretch out, rice, and all those different types of things. It's just, those are some of the necessities in life, and if the internet is down, you don't have the YouTube, you don't have the instructionals, you got to go to a cookbook, you got to go to the things you learned and recall the things that you've seen other people do. And that's not the time to be trying it. It's now, when you got every resource you have, you got every single thing you have. And I think what makes Floridians a whole lot stronger, and I would say people on the coast, period. Anybody that's on the coast, where the Gulf Coast, the West Coast, anybody that deals with hurricanes, deal with tornadoes, a bunch of different stuff every single year, we don't have a choice but to prep. We don't have a choice but to be prepared, because it's nothing for us to encounter 1 week or maybe 2 weeks without power. Now, electric companies have gotten a lot better over the years, but if a right storm come through, there's nothing for us to be out of power for 5 to 7 days. I mean, minimum,
It's crazy that you say that, because people forget where they came from. Because when we didn't have a lot growing up. I'm gonna say around me, most of us was on welfare. We didn't have nothing, so you have to go back to your roots. It's times where we didn't have heat. It's times we didn't have water because they couldn't pay the bill. So you kind of have to go back to where you to your roots.
I can remember when we were growing up, and we would stay at my great aunt's house. Hey Rambo, how you doing? We would stay at our great aunt's house, right?
You got Cooking and
And
Pam in too, just FYI.
oh, how you cooking at Pam's place? How you doing? And so they she was the one, my great aunt was the one that taught my mom how to make quilts. And so she would have these quilts, and man, they were huge. And she had a king size, like when king size beds were really king size beds, she had a real king size bed. And she would have us kids all lined up in the bed. And she would be like, anybody got to go to the bathroom before I put these covers on? You better go ahead and go to the bathroom now. Because baby, when she laid them covers on you, you were stuck. You couldn't move, you couldn't turn right, you couldn't turn left. But one thing about it was you were not going to be cold.
Right.
You were going to be warm. In the morning, she would get up before everybody. She would light the pilot, turn on the stove, whatever had to be done to make it more comfortable as we got up to move around, to get ready for school or whatever. But throughout that night, they didn't use the resources. You had to use the quilts. You had to use the heavy covers, the whatever they made. That's what you used to stay warm during the night. Then she was going to get up in the morning. She was going to get the place warmed up as much as possible. So we got to get back to that mindset where we're not just using all of our resources just because they're there.
Right.
Now, Hudson, can you talk a little bit about like growing up, not that wealthy, growing up on stamps? And I know I've talked about it, but kind of break that down, because sometimes we just kind of go over it.
Mm-hmm.
But the meals were different.
Yeah.
The environment was different. Just talk a little bit about that to some of the people who really don't understand what you mean, because I know what you're talking about. But kind of go through that and tell a little bit about that.
So this is the thing. We grew up, well, my mom had me young. She was 17. And the first time she moved out from my grandmother's house, we stayed in the projects. So she might have had my two brothers too, but I was about 8 years old, and I can remember us not having food. So my grandmother was part of, I don't know if you ever heard of the Goodfellows. It's like an organization, and it was close to Easter. And my grandmother had signed my mama up. So she had brought like all these groceries, right? And you just appreciate it. It was like Christmas to us because we didn't have no food in the refrigerator. And we probably ate maybe some rice or something to get us over to the next day, but we didn't have like no food. And to this day, and I've had decent jobs since college, but to this day, I keep tuna fish in my pantry. I keep rice in my pantry. I keep noodles in my pantry. And I even set up times for my son where I wouldn't go grocery shopping. And I say, well, you got to eat. So what you go eat? Because we don't know what tomorrow brings. I might lose my job. I might lose my income, but I still have to survive. So I
would do
always
our
keep
kids like that too.
Yep.
I would do our kids like that. And they'd be like, Mama, ain't nothing to eat. I said, no, it's something to eat. It's not what you want. but you're going to get in there and you're going to figure it out. You're going
There you go.
to use whatever you have in there to figure out a meal. And let me tell you, little Gigi, the girl can burn, okay?
Beast.
She can
Right.
That
throw
girl a
down.
beast, boy.
She can throw down in the kitchen like from scratch.
She'll
Yeah.
Like
figure, she'll
not
figure
packaged
whatever.
stuff, but
I'll
she
be
know
like,
how to
I
make
didn't
stuff
even
from
see
scratch.
all of that in there. What you doing?
Yeah,
Right.
But
Yeah.
now
yeah.
one thing you brought up now, man, I remember those good feelings when you had that house with some food. I remember
Mhm.
having that. There was nothing more better, especially in the wintertime when the house was warm and you had food. You just felt so good. You know what I'm saying? And the
Mhm.
cartoons or sitting in front of the TV with some cereal or something, it just felt so much like home. But now this
Mhm.
is the thing. When you said we don't know where we may face in the future, this is where I was going from the very beginning. They say that over, I don't want to stretch it too much, almost 40% of the labor force will be out of work within the next 15 to 20 years based on technology from AI. They say jobs from white collar to the general everyday blue collar worker will not be employed. From restaurants, they said, I mean, even like some of the doctors, some of the medical field, a lot of different things, a lot of different professions will be impacted. Now, when you think about 40%, and then they had this the gentleman that was speaking, they said, what will the people do? I mean, how would they be able to survive? And he says there's no difference between the steam engine, there's no difference between electricity, there's no difference between the internet. We have all been impacted, and man has found a way. But he said the difference is about this is it will come so fast that we haven't faced this before. They said that this transition will happen so quickly that we he's not sure how we're going to deal with it, but he knows that mankind will find a way. But
Mankind
it's like what you just said.
always finds a way. Always. Mankind always finds a way. And this is why I have often said I'm not even worried so much about the poor people because see, we grew up poor. So we know how to survive. We know how to
Yep.
do basic things. We know how to make something out of nothing. So I'm not so much worried about the poor people, and I'm also not so much worried about those of us who have taken this journey and did what our grandparents did and learned how to grow something. Because if you do that, if you just know how to take a potato, sit that baby in some water, let it get some slips on it, throw them slips over in some dirt, like it may not be that one thing for all year. It may not work for all the seasons, but you figure out something else for the next season and the season after that. You figure out what you can grow in the winter, what you can grow in the summer, what you can grow in the spring, and what you can grow in the fall to get you a whole year round. That's one of the reasons that we also are so very focused on making sure that we have a variety of fruit trees. Look, we ain't got nowhere else to put fruit trees just yet, but we still stopped on the side of the road. Not what 2 weeks ago, babe, when we were out just having a day to ourselves. We stopped on the side of the road and bought up fruit trees, buying blueberries, buying grapevines. You know, we got grapevines on the homestead that's growing just wild. But we still are being very, very intentional, growing with Hudson Word, being very, very intentional about what we do and the type of things that we're putting because we want to make sure that we have something for all 4 seasons that we can eat, that we can walk out onto our
That's right.
property and that we can get something to eat. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead, Iko.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Okay. So that's the thing. And that's with us going through all of this. The thing is, when you in a situation you'll be surprised what you depend on. So you have to think of the things that you depend on and what you can supplement or you make sure that you have. Now, okay, so like we sweeten a lot of stuff, right?
Mm.
So if you can't get no sugar, what you go to? I'm
Mm.
gonna go to honey. If I can't get no honey, guess what I'm gonna go to? I'm gonna go to sugar cane. And if I ain't got none of them, guess what I'm gonna have? I'm gonna have me some syrup. Something that's gonna sweeten what I want. That's how I think. If I can't get no syrup, then I'm gonna go to a fruit from one of the trees. You know, that's how you have to think. Like you have to have a backup to the backup to the backup to the backup to the backup. Your mind just got to continually keep on going on what you can substitute it for.
You better preach,
and,
sis.
and you know, one of the things that you brought up was sugar, sweetness. When things get tough and when things get tight, that's your currency right there. People will give a lot of resources to get something sweet in a time of poverty, in a time of lacking. Things that are fragrance and sweetness and sweeteners. That's gonna be money. Trust me.
Herbs too.
Definitely.
Mm.
Anything that can heal.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gigi.
No, I'm just agreeing. I'm agreeing. Yeah, you better get on them herbs. And this is why I'm practicing. I love one of the channels that I love for herbs is the Everyday Life of an OCD's chick, because she has always got some herbs growing in her garden. And I love the fact that she has a variety of stuff, but she had that same stuff that is growing and is coming back every year, and she knows how to protect it, she knows how to dehydrate it, she knows how to do all of that stuff. And we can learn a lot from that. We can learn a lot from knowing how to take that stuff, how to store that stuff, how to save that stuff, keeping it fresh so that if anything happens, there it is, there it is, I got
There
it,
it
I
is.
got it. I don't have the physical copy, but I got it in my email and I send it out to a lot of people. So if you want it, send me an email. If you want that book in the PDF form, you can send me an email, and I have sent it out to a whole lot of people. But
And
That's
print it
kind of
out.
thuggish, ain't it, Gigi? That's kind of thuggish, ain't it?
I mean, it is what it is. This is survival. We talking about making sure that we help people. This is what we do. We gonna do some stuff that's a little unorthodox, when it comes to survival and when it comes to helping people. You don't know what you're going to do until you in a situation. So um if you have information and you gatekeeping the information,
Mm,
then
mm.
like what good is that? How
What's
are
the
you
point?
going to help people if you the gatekeeper?
Right. But you want to print that out too, because it's a saying that I just ran upon. I forgot who said it, but they say live your life today as if it wasn't no tomorrow.
That
Mm.
that's a great one. That's a great one. So,
So if
but
the power
yeah,
go
I
out
do have it
tomorrow,
downloaded. I have it downloaded on my phone so I can see it whether I have internet or not. But
okay.
yeah, I do need to go ahead and get that printed out.
Yeah, I already know you're a thug too, my Renaissance. I already know you about that thug life. I already know you ride or die. But some of the things that I really think about, a lot of times it's going to be interesting to see, because a lot of people put so much preference on money, 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 money. And I don't think people really understand that without a lot of these modern day conveniences, you're going to realize that water is very important. You're going to realize that food and eating is very important. Gardening is very important. you knowing your environment, learning herbs, learning remedies, using manual tools. It's some people, they don't even know how to use some of these things. And some of our houses don't even have them. We done thrown them out. We no
Right.
longer use them. And we got to diversify. We got to diversify not only with technology, but also with the utilization of the basic necessities.
I was
And we
thinking, okay, sorry, go ahead.
no, you good. You good. Go ahead.
There was a person that came in on one of my recent videos and was like, what about us in a certain zone, like in a hotter zone, trying to grow that same crop that you're talking about growing? I'm just kind of paraphrasing what they were saying. Um, and a lot of times some people don't think about, that's why we're so important. That's why we're so important to this space, because a lot of times people don't think about, okay, well, if it's too hot in the summertime, if you're getting in those temperatures in the summertime, then you may want to plant that crop earlier. That was my only reply. You may want to plant that crop earlier when it's cooler in your area. That person hadn't really considered that. And they were
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, thank you. So this is why we repeat the same stuff. We talk about the same stuff over and over again. We keep telling people, hey, you're going to need to have you some trees, have you a variety of trees, have you a variety of plants, get your seeds, make sure you know how to collect your seeds. When you let some of your stuff go to seed, let it start to flower so that you can get seeds. Like,
Right.
you don't want to have to be dependent on a system that will push out something like an AI that can take even your stocking job.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that's why I believe it's important too. It's on my mind, the investment in everything of a greenhouse or a high tunnel when I do get my land, because to control the temperature on what, like, we get colder than y'all do. So I still want my plants to prosper, my trees to prosper, even when it's not the season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's all that stuff you have to go ahead and start putting that stuff in place,
Yeah.
while you have the opportunity. And I think a lot of us we're way too reactionary. My nursing instructor used to always say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And I would be like, what am I talking about? Oh my God. you know, but now I know what she was talking about. Having moved into the preparation space, I get it. I get it as an adult. I'm like, dang, she was so right. If you go ahead and prepare now, you won't have to worry about being reactionary when stuff starts to get hard. You won't have to worry about, not having your basic things, not having a first aid kit in place, not having, something where you can give a diabetic who blood sugar done fell, give them a piece of candy, give them a sweet drink, or put some sugar up under their tongue or whatever. So ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Right.
So LGGG Love says, Eco, my children say I am a hoarder for saving my grandmother's and mother's utensils. Yeah, I hate spending money to replace something another generation supplies that was donated to me. And this is the thing. A lot of things I didn't understand about my grandparents and my mother, now it makes a lot of sense now. There's a lot of things that they used to do, and I couldn't understand it. Just like I shared with you all the story about my big mother, my great grandmother. Why in the world do you have a sink? Because it was funny, because she was born at a time where technology was starting to happen in people's life and convenience. And I knew she grew up in the country, but simple things from washing dishes. She would take her pail and put a pail in the sink and wash the
Mhm.
dishes in the pail. And then when she get finished with the pail, she didn't put it down. She didn't put the soap water down the drain. She took the soap water out to a certain part in the yard, and she poured the soap water in the yard. I didn't understand that, but guess what she was doing? She was feeding the earthworms. She had a certain place where she had earthworms. She would use those earthworms for fishing, feeding chickens, and feeding her garden. She would use the earthworm and the dirt from the earthworm to plant in her flower pots and all that kind of stuff. But it's stuff that I was like, this makes no sense. Why are we taking this out and pouring this stuff out when you could just pour it down the drain? But you keep on living. You keep on living. You keep learning new things, and then you'll start understanding why people do what they do.
It's crazy.
And every time
because,
somebody say something, every time somebody say something about pest control, what's the first thing we do? They be like, I done tried all of this stuff and this and that. We be like, get you some soapy water and go out there and spray it on your.
Yep.
But my grandmother, she used to do the same thing. She had owned her house, and I see it as an apartment because even though I'm in an apartment, they charge a lot of people for water. But if you have those 2 buckets to wash and rinse, you're not continually running that water.
True.
And I'm guilty of it because I run the water a lot. Shoot, I'll walk away from the seat with the water running.
Boy, right now that drive me crazy, boy. I was like, cut that
Not
water
when you living off grid.
Cut that water
Not when you living off grid. You ain't gonna do that
no. We only have a certain amount of water we use during the day, and then we got to power everything up, and then for the night. Yeah, most definitely. But then you just brought up something. You just brought up something. Think about this. My big mother or my great grandmother, they used to have to pump their well, but when she moved to the city, she didn't have to do that. So I'm thinking about what you were just saying. Conserving water, you went ahead and made your water to wash the dishes. You know what I'm saying? Versus even though she had the sink where she could have turned on the faucet, but I think about some of the things she used to do, and that showed the transitioning between that manual piece to now she got the technology. Her kids, her sons built her the house, and then it's like now she still do the same stuff.
Yeah. And it concerns water, especially if you got to pay that water bill.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the manual stuff, instead of you cutting on an appliance, instead of you turning certain things, turning knobs, switching on lights, open up the curtains, and open up the windows instead of cutting on the thermostat, it saves you a lot of money. It saves you a lot of money, those little steps.
Because they don't even build houses with a lot of windows no more.
True. Hey, everybody's
and then the windows that we do have today, they so huge, or they just closed windows. You can't open them. What can you do?
Yeah.
It's crazy because you said that, because I was saying if I have to build or the house I move into, I want a window in the bathroom. The last, I know, 2 to 3 places that I stayed, it didn't have no windows in the bathroom. That's how that was the air freshener.
Yeah. And the natural light.
Right.
And the natural light and your escape route as well.
That is. Because you don't want to be trapped in the bathroom.
I know that's right.
Right.
Yeah. Now, so Mazie, how you doing?
Hi, Mazie.
Wow, that's a good idea of how to use dirty water. Yeah, man, it was so many ways, and like you said, now, matter of fact, I did it yesterday when I washed dishes. I took some of the dish water out and I poured it on some of the collard greens because we saw some little pest on the collard green. That's soapy water.
Yep. All of that.
Well, I'm getting ready to get out of here. I've been on for way too long. I'm like 1 minute from 2 hours. That's way too long for me. But I really, really, really appreciate the conversation. And thank you so much for making that appearance. And don't be a stranger. And Gigi.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in. And Gigi, you be safe out there in them streets.
Listen, I'm fixing to hit this Planet Fitness, baby. Finna hit the Planet Fitness.
All right. Y'all be well, be safe. And don't forget, whatever you do, make sure that you keep on growing. Grow. Take care, y'all.
Bye,
Much
guys.
love.
See you next time. Have a great week.
Jay,